Aeolian Hall brings a lot of people together. I believe that there's some sort of magic in this place, and I believe that everybody that steps into Aeolian Hall for the first time will feel that magic.
The Aeolian Hall has quite a rich history in our community. It started actually back in the 1940s with a hall that burned down in the 1960s.
Clark Bryan bought the hall in 2004 and began the process of turning it over into a charitable organization. He's been able to do so much with starting El Sistema Aeolian, the Pride Men's Chorus, the Rebel Heart Collective, and again really raising that culture of excellence in East London.
I decided to launch a UNESCO and TED award-winning program called El Sistema here at the Hall. Wasn't sure if it was going to work in this community, but it's a free after-school music program for kids who would not normally have the opportunity to have an enriched music program.
A program like El Sistema has a huge impact on the youth in that it gives them confidence and it gives them the tools necessary to escape the poverty, whichever kind of poverty they're facing in all its different forms.
It's fun and very collaborative sometimes. People provide you a lot here.
I wanted to join because I really never got to be in programs like this because of my disabilities.
We have a wide range of socioeconomic backgrounds among our participants, so we have the opportunity for kids all over London from different backgrounds and ethnicities and family backgrounds to be able to be part of a team together without any of those barriers you might see with other traditional organizations.
Music to me is mostly my life because I love listening to it, and so joining this program made it better for me.
I already know 2 instruments. Wait, make that 3 because I know a bit of piano, violin, and a bit of recorder.
Some of the children are from refugee situations or they're immigrants. Just being around them and the joy that they have and learning from them has really, for me, been a personal growth.
Everything that I see in our programming, our education programs, is all about giving opportunities for people to be inspired and get different perspectives through art and culture. We launched Pride Men's Chorus London, what would normally be called a gay men's chorus. In the rest of the world, we decided to open it up to men of all gender identifications. Its purpose is to enjoy music and through the experience of performance, help open minds and hearts.
Clark and I just thought it would be a really good social experience for the kids to work together with Pride Men's Chorus. We first had that experience when we had a concert with Matt Alber and the men's chorus was singing backup.
The idea of the synergy between the men, many of whom were ostracized when they came out of the closet as gay men, and many of the children in our program, actually many don't have parents. So the idea of coupling up that socially has been a really remarkable thing for me, and we've already heard feedback about it and how it's positively impacting lives.
As soon as we heard and saw what potential that had, we said, we got to do this more often. So we have done it twice since. When people perform music in a group, it's more than just music. It's also a group expression.
Aeolian Hall is unique in what it offers to London in terms of the arts and culture, in terms of what it is doing within Old East Village, but also the greater community.
The musical productions are structured with a view to try to make music accessible to everyone, different kinds of music accessible to everyone. So there's jazz, there's classical, there's roots, there's contemporary, there's singer-songwriter. There are all these different facets of this great field of music, and we try and bring some of each into the Aeolian because they each have kind of their own demographic and their own audience.
We launched a new professional orchestra called Rebel Heart Collective, trying to change the lens on classical music and the access point to classical music.
I don't think we should distinguish between classical music and other kinds of music. I think that there's some barriers that are artificial that shouldn't be there. I know that the experience I have of teaching, I've been teaching for a long time, that I have students who say to me that music's made them a better person.
Being a classical pianist and coming from that tradition, I really believe that serious changes need to happen because it is still very much held in the hands of the elite in our society, which was never the intention.
Aeolian Hall is a really professional venue from the way that it's run, the ticket sales, the people that come here, they're all here to listen to music. They're music lovers. So for me, I always get the most nervous when I play here at Aeolian Hall because I feel like as soon as I step onto the stage, the people here are here for a show.
There is a kind of magical resonance to the place, and the moment you first make a note of music, it just rings through the hall in this magical way. And you know right away it's going to be an amazing concert. I hope Aeolian Hall is around for hundreds and hundreds of years. I think it's well on its way. I hope they keep the doors open and keep the music flowing because what they're doing there is very, very special. And I can't wait to see what's next.
So I sort of knew what I wanted from a performance hall, and when I walked into this space, I knew this is where I wanted our very first show to play.
You know, singing and making music is really important to me, but it's not all that music is about. It's about getting together.
When I play here, it always feels like I'm with friends. The hall itself is almost like a person to me. There are all these facets in the Aeolian that are kind of bubbling away, and it's so different than most venues that you would see in terms of what they do. Here it's really limitless. It's a community in itself. So I've never had a life without music. I can't imagine what that would be like. The hall is wonderful, the volunteers are fantastic, the people that are behind the scene, the ones that are working so hard at the bar, selling tickets.
The volunteer experience here is amazing. It's like extended family. Meet nice people and you become friends with lots of them.
We couldn't survive without the volunteers. The volunteers are the core of Aeolian and El Sistema. There's very few paid positions, so we really rely on the volunteers to do all the other jobs and make the hall run.
This place has a long history of being the center of its community, and I think because of Clark and the people that work here and volunteer here, it continues to have that role in this community.
The Aeolian Hall, it needs volunteers because it's a community centre, a focal point. It needs people who believe in what's happening.
Aeolian has grown in that when I first came, there probably were, maybe half a dozen, 10 shows in a month. Now, some months we can have a show 5-6 nights a week.
The future of Aeolian Hall, in my vision, is strong and bright, and it continues to grow more and more as a place where people come to have their soul nurtured in the performances that they experience.
I feel that we're an organization that's open to change and experimentation and risk-taking. Every program we've launched here, every step we've taken, we've never had the money to do it. Unfortunately, the majority of the world does not work that way. The majority of the world is paralyzed in fear and is not willing to take risks. So we hope to set an example of achievement through risk-taking as a really important role that it's maybe not one that people think of first and foremost, but the story of the Aeolian is basically against the odds.
If somebody is doing something good and it works and it's the right thing for the community, you can't not support it.
It's all about values in the end. It's all about who we are as people. We sometimes lose sight of where we're going, who we are, what we believe. And if the Aeolian can act as a catalyst to remind us of that, that is really in my heart to be at the foundation level for what we do here. Brett, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about you, and also for doing the Phoenix session for us. It's really wonderful to have an artist like you on our stage.
My pleasure to be here and to perform at the Aeolian. Thanks, Clark. Yeah, it was an honor to be asked to do it, and I'm looking forward to chatting as well.
Great. Well, let's go way back and think about, I guess, maybe your childhood or whatever that time was where you got the bug for music. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, great question, in the sense that it wasn't in my childhood at all, actually. I always was a huge music fan, and I always felt like I had music in my blood. Not in my family, but just in me. But it wasn't until far later in life that I really got the music bug. I was always into sports. That was kind of my main thing through university and everything. It wasn't until the age of 23, actually, that I picked up a guitar for the very first time. I remember it like it was yesterday, because I was at a friend's place. He had been taking some guitar lessons for about 6 months. He was trying to play a Tragically Hip song, and he was struggling a bit. He said, "You try." And I grabbed the guitar and tried, and I had a pretty decent knack for it right off the get-go. And I remember the feeling I had was just overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, this is going to change my life. And it did. The next day, I remember I lived in Mississauga at the time. The next day I rolled my coins up, went to the guitar shop, bought my first acoustic guitar, and it changed the course of my life completely. I had no plans of this ever happening, but within a few years, I went from playing guitar to writing songs to singing. And within a few years, I was signed to a record label in Manhattan. So the trajectory of my life completely changed due to music, and I couldn't be more thankful for that.
Wow, that's quite a story. So just back again, though, what were the kinds of music that were your influences early on?
I've always liked music from most genres. I loved rock. I mean, 90s rock was a big part of it. I like the old country stuff, definitely, which is what I do now, but that took a little while to kind of show itself to me. I listened to hip hop my whole life, even classical. You know, I think the
you said the right thing.
Point there. Classic rock, growing up was definitely, what my parents listened to for the most part, and that's actually still where I go for the most part for my inspiration is the 70s kind of rock stuff. I really like that stuff. So I've always been into all different kinds of music, and I've always been just a person that's been around music and loved music. And then when music kind of presented itself to me as was started as a hobby and then turned into a career, it definitely felt right. So
wow,
I think there's good music in all genres, and I've always been a fan of anything that's really good.
Cool. So, I mean, that early influence, though, of having the music played in the house, do you think that was a big thing? I know I've spoken with other artists, like, for example, Mark Jordan talked about the fact that his father was a classical singer, sang on the radio, but they always listened to folk music at home. But, he became a really famous singer-songwriter, right? So, what do you think the role was that the music you heard growing up?
Yeah, I think that again, I always knew how much I loved music, and it was always a big part of our house. My mom played piano; she taught piano, but that was never really my bag. But in terms of the record player being on, I remember perfectly being a little guy just sitting there with the big cans on in front of the record player, listening to Meatloaf and Supertramp and things like that. And it just kind of became the soundtrack to your life. And I mean, again, it wasn't until later, like I've always been such a huge fan of music, but I've always been into bands and into like album art and into lyrics and into guitar riffs and things. So it definitely stemmed from an early age where music was just a part of our house and part of our lifestyle and part of our life. And then as soon as I got that guitar in my hand, it all sort of meshed up together, and I knew that was, that this is where I was supposed to be.
So your mom played the piano.
Yep.
And she taught a bit too?
Taught piano too, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there was always music in the house. She played very much by theory and by the notation and stuff, whereas I was just complete play by ear kind of guy. When I picked up guitar, I learned all the basic chords, and I just sit beside the radio and just try to play along with everything that came on the radio, and that was how I kind of got my chops. And then that very quickly evolved into realizing how much satisfaction there was in writing my own music. So it went from very quickly to playing covers to doing my own thing, which is definitely what I'm all about.
So tell me about the process of writing that first song then. How do you do that?
I remember the first song I wrote for sure. It was called Shells. It was on my first album that I released with my first rock band in New York. And I remember doing it. I remember sitting, I remember exactly where I was, and I remember writing it. And I don't know exactly how to describe it. I mean, I have my processes now, and it's all very ordered and very, not, of course there's a lot of fluidity to it, but there's definitely structures and things I understand. But, it was just writing from the heart, writing something that was important to me, and figuring out what chords go together. And,
do you start with lyrics, or do you start with them?
It's always different. There's always usually a bug that starts the song, whether it's a tagline, it could be a riff, it could be a chord progression, it could be just some finger picking, it could be a theme. So it's always different, but usually I would say I have a concept for a song. I'll try to come up with some sort of a chord structure to sort of match the tone and the color of the song. And then I'll usually throw a melody down, just some kind of nonsense lyrics, and then I'll fill in the blanks. And then I just continually chisel away and cut the fat and trim the song down to the most important elements of it. And yeah, it's such a fun process and such a great thing to be able to do and to share with people and to really express who you are, what you're thinking, what's going on in your life, or what's going on in someone else's life through music. So it's a gift that's been given to me, definitely.
So just back to this again, though, because I think people are really interested to know. So do you just kind of improvise and fiddle around to get your ideas, or do they come to you in your head, or is it some of both?
It's both, for sure. Sometimes a lot of times it'll be an impromptu idea that I'll have. A lot of times I'll be in bed. I always have my phone or my dictaphone next to me, because ideas are incredibly fleeting. If you don't get them down, you'll forget them immediately. It might be in the shower, it might be while I'm for a walk, it could be anywhere. Sometimes sometimes it could be a really cool idea. It could be a neat line, like a lyrical line, or it could be, a lot of times it's a chord progression or a riff or something that I'll get, and I'll be like, and I'll think that this is an idea I have to get down. Once I get that down, then usually I grab my acoustic guitar. Sometimes I'll do a little bit on piano, but to just really fiddle around with the idea of the song and find out what chords, like I said, sort of match up with the theme and the color of the song. And then it's just tinkering around with the chord progression, and then going through the steps to find your verses and your pre-choruses, choruses, bridges, all those things. And yeah, I mean, it's a song is a living thing. So you build it from the ground up. It's ever changing and it's ever fluid until that final day when you go in the studio and say, this is it. But in terms of the process, there's no specific way that I get it done. But there's definitely those paths that I always take, which are chord structures, melody, and then slotting the great lyrics in, coming up with some more riffs, other parts for instrumentation, and then whittling it down to the final product.
So do you ever have any outside influences when you've presented a song the way you want to do it, where somebody says, I think you should put a quicker beat with that, or just maybe, or tone it down and make it more kind of acoustic folk. Does that ever happen to you?
Absolutely, for sure. And I'm all ears when it comes to my music. I'm not someone who's incredibly guarded with my ideas, like married to them off the top. If there's something that I love and I absolutely need to have, I will make sure I'm firm on that. But that's why I hire the producers or work with the producers that I do. They have great ears, they have great ideas, they have great knowledge and expertise in what they think would work for the song. And it might be something outside of the scope of what I've considered, because you get pretty it can get a little bit narrow-minded and a little bit of tunnel vision sometimes when it comes to your own song. So to get some outside influence to say, you know what, maybe this bridge should be like this, or maybe we should up the tempo of this song, or maybe we should do the opposite, or maybe we should strip this back, which is something I always like to do, is definitely keep things kind of raw. So yeah, absolutely. When it comes to getting some feedback from other people, I've gotten all kinds of stuff, and sometimes I say, you know what, I don't think that's the best idea, and sometimes I'd say, geez, I didn't think of that. That's fantastic. Let's go that route. And I'm really glad that we did, and that's why these people are great at what they do, and why we use them.
That's fascinating. So one of my friends is Stefan Macchio, who co-wrote Wrecking Ball for Miley Cyrus and wrote A New Day for Celine Dion and a whole bunch of like huge hits, right? And he did a presentation once when I brought him into the hall, and it was on the stages of that song, A New Day, that he wrote for Celine Dion. And the early versions were very folky. And, the mid versions where he really liked it were kind of a medium tempo ballad-like thing. And then the industry got their hands on it, and they put that really fast beat to it, Sure. And he says at that point, I don't own it anymore, right? Like it's not mine anymore. So he had a really negative experience with that happening to him, Of course, he's glad that the song had the life that it did, but I always find it interesting how the industry can impact on you, right? The outside influences.
Absolutely. I mean, and I can totally see how that could be frustrating, or at least not what an artist wants when they have a particular vision for a song, and then it leaves their hands and it's a completely different animal. Again, you're right. It's great to find the success in the song, but when the complexion of your song is completely lost, yeah, it's kind of like you've kind of lost that piece of that song that mattered. But hey, if it's a hit song,
I always tell him to quit complaining because he made enough money off that song to retire, right?
Yeah, champagne problems, right? Yeah, boo.
Or to write a million other songs exactly how he wanted to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's move along in your history then. And so you've had a lot of opportunities to perform, and you've done a lot of recording as well. What are some highlights for you in that journey?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I was signed to a record label and lived down in the States for the very first part of my music career, which is in the early 2000s, with my first band called Carnival Divine, which is a rock band. So that was an amazing experience, first and foremost, to be brand new in the music world and be down in Manhattan recording an album in the Skyline Studios, which is this beautiful studio in Manhattan with, Grammy-winning producers and engineers, and some heavyweight musicians that came in and recorded. The album was released and it did pretty well. There was a few problems we had with the very typical story of a musician, but it was an amazing experience, and I learned so much doing that. Obviously, being pretty green and being kind of thrown into that world. After that, I worked briefly with some really great musicians. The drummer from Megadeth, the drummer from Alice Cooper, the singer and guitarist from a band called Fuel, and a guitarist from King's X. They put a band together called Penrod. It was kind of like a classic rock super band, and it came down to me and Ian Ashbury from The Cult as the vocalist, and they chose me. So we pre-produced an album together, and it was great. It was really good classic rock stuff. So it was amazing to be able to work with those musicians. The project didn't get off the ground. It was a financial thing that was going to be funded by the musicians. It didn't end up getting released, but it was an amazing experience to be able to work with those guys on that level and just be mentioned in the same breath with those gentlemen. After that, I moved west. I did a different project called Jackfish River, which is almost like a hip hop meets country kind of a thing. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of conceptual. I toured all over out west and in Canada, down into the States. Down there, did some big festivals like the Merritt Mountain Music Festival. I had a blast out west for about 5 years. Then moved back to Ontario, which is when I really started getting into the country scene. And since I've been back here, which is quite a few years now, performing with I Mother Earth and David Wilcox, Kim Mitchell, Everclear, just lots of great highlights, lots of great stages, lots of traveling, a lot of fun. So It's been a journey, 100% top to bottom. I'm still in it, thankfully still performing, thanks to you guys especially. So yeah, it's been
nothing. I mean, I wish we could have done more during this pandemic to support musicians, but of course, you know, our revenue stream also completely dried up, right? And we've been lucky just recently to get a few grants that have helped us to do a little bit, but it's going to be a challenge getting back out of this pandemic. Just on the note of country music, though, so when I first bought Aeolian Hall, and I did bring in a couple of country music artists in the early days, and I was sort of told by the industry that, you know, country music travels west to east and it basically stops around London, Ontario, and it doesn't go any further.
Right.
Do you think that's changed substantially now?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think from when are we talking about?
Oh, 2004.
Okay, yeah, the landscape of country is completely different, I think, between 2004 and now. I mean, the outreach of the genre into different, you know, demographics, both in terms of age and in terms of landscape, is massive. I mean, the country has a really big place in today's youth, which is far different than the sort of classic country. So I think that the landscape of the country music scene across Canada is far healthier than it's ever been. So I don't think it stops in London. I think it goes coast to coast now. And I think that the response is fantastic. And country music fans are unlike any other fans in the industry. It's from, maybe I'm biased, but from experience, I can, you know, these are people that are incredibly loyal to their artists. And we're definitely seeing a big shift in country music and becoming one of the biggest genres out there. So I think that's awesome.
Well, that's good to hear, because I'm planning to program a number of artists in that genre. I've been working with agents down in Nashville, lining up some big names. So you know, it's all risk taking. So it's good to hear that, so that it's really vibrant around here. Want to talk a little bit about this last year and a half, if you're comfortable with that.
Sure.
It has been tough. That's the understatement of the day for a lot of people, and devastating for others. What has your experience been during the pandemic?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's been tough. And you know, being a musician, most of the people in my network being, you know, other musicians or people like yourself, I mean, my heart goes out to all of them and all of us. Like, it's just been devastating on so many levels, whether it be financial, creative, just everything. So, you know, I'm super thankful that people like you have kept things rolling, and I'm really excited for things to get back underway the way they used to be, because it's just so hard for so many people. You know, I've been surviving. I've been keeping busy. My wife and I actually bought our first house, and then sold that and bought our second house during the pandemic. So we managed to actually, you know, do well through this, despite, you know, the sort of current situation. But at least it's kept us busy and kept us, you know, with things to do and things to enjoy. But in terms of music, I mean, it's been, you know, I've continued to write. I've released a song in November of 2020, so not too long ago, that a couple I know who had lost someone to suicide approached me to see if I could be of service to them in creating a song with them. So that was an amazing experience. Very well received song, very timely too, you know, with mental health and suicide, isolation, everything kind of on the rise. It seemed like pretty poignant and pretty timely to release that song. And I'm releasing a song in the next couple of weeks too, which my brother actually approached me and said, "Why are there no songs about Terry Fox out there?" I said, "Oh, great question." So he came to me with some really great lyrics, and the same sort of thing. I put together a song. It's called Like a Fox, and we're planning on releasing that soon too. So I've had people, you know, everyone's kind of looking for things to do, and I've actually had two different people, this couple and my brother as well, come to me. They wanted to make music, you know. So not only have I been writing my own music and doing things, but I've been teaming up with other people that seem to want to, you know, express and do artistic things and find some meaning in a time when we're, you know, there's a lack of music, there's a lack of connection, there's a lack of stories, things like that. So in short, yeah, it's been tough, and obviously I miss performing, and I miss the whole seeing other bands and hanging out with everybody, and that's the lifestyle that we miss. It's definitely made me appreciate what I had and what I look forward to having again. And you know, this is going to end, and we're going to get back to normal. I truly believe that, and when we do, we'll have that much more to sing about and to talk about.
Do you think that this time period's affected you at all in terms of what you want to write about in the future?
Yeah, interesting question. Yeah, I've actually during the performance, I bring my niece Peyton up on stage. I've been giving her guitar lessons through the pandemic. She was in my circle. And one of the first songs, so we started writing songs together, and it ended up going really well. And she performed a few songs with me on stage, which you'll see. But one of the first songs we wrote was called "Better Together," and it was literally about exactly the things I'm talking about. It's just addressing the fact that it's been so difficult not being able to see family and friends, and how we're missing each other, and how we're just truly better together. And I think that sentiment is echoing through a lot of people's minds and hearts and lives right now. So yeah, I do think that there will be an impact of this pandemic moving forward for my life and my music. And I think there's an element of gratitude to what I have, and now realizing, what I've always had. It's kind of easy to always be looking to the future for what will be, but when you look at what we had and what's been taken away from us in this regard, I think that it's really a lot of reflection about that, and I think that will definitely be reflected again in my music moving forward. To just, I like to write about things that are close to my heart, and obviously the situation is it's close to everybody's heart. It's affected everybody and their families and their livelihood and their income, and so yes, this will directly impact the landscape of my music. Yeah.
So that's interesting you said about a time to reflect, because I think that's, certainly for myself, running the Aeolian is a lot of administrative fundraising stuff. And I've been doing a performance every night on YouTube, just getting back into my own music. Getting back to that authentic stuff, right? Like that was the reason I bought Aeolian Hall and the reason I went down that path. And I've heard this from a lot of artists, that it really gave them a chance to stop and think about the authenticity part of what they want to see in the future. For example, a lot of artists have talked about, being on tour, and how they hope that after the pandemic's over, that some want to resume that lifestyle, and others say, I hope that I can tour closer to home so I don't have to be away from my wife so much, or my kids, or I can, have a little bit of time at home to actually write music as well as tour, because a lot of people, when they tour, they don't have time to write songs. So I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, my wife and I, we've been separated from the rest of our family, but we've taken this time to really connect with each other. And we've been spending a lot of time together, a lot of time at home. And you're exactly right. I mean, it's amazing to slow down, kind of hit that pause button, maybe even hit the rewind button a little bit, and just be like, you know what, this is the good stuff too. Like, it's pretty easy to get wrapped up in everything else, but when you go, hey, this is kind of maybe what my life's been missing. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Brett, for this time today. I'm so looking forward to your performance, and I am also looking forward to the time when we can get you to the hall, hopefully very soon. We're planning to re-invite our Phoenix session artists to do a performance with an actual audience.
Well, that's great. I can't wait.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we have a brand new sound system in there, and all these new lights and everything. So it's that went in just before the pandemic, like 1 month before. And so we're looking forward to showcasing that to our audiences as well.
Well, the place looks great, sounds great. It is great. It's a wonderful venue here in London. I'm super thankful for you and for the hall, and for what you do in the community, and for making sure to keep live local music vibrant out there. And hopefully, yeah, we'll be back sooner than later, and
Well, we're very grateful to have people like you who are providing the inspiration to the audiences. So with that note, let's sign off. And until the next time, thanks again. And let's be on with the concert.
All right, Click. Thanks again. We'll see you soon. All right.
Take care.
Man, it's good to be back. It's been a long time for a lot of us, for a lot of things. But I'm super happy to be here at the Aeolian Hall. What an amazing venue. What an honor to be asked to be here. What a thrill. I'm really excited. Thanks so much to the Aeolian Hall and the great team for having me here. Like I said, really excited. Thanks for all of you for coming to check this performance out. I look forward to spending some time with you for the next bit, telling you some stories, playing some of my music for you guys. So thanks for checking this out. Let's get ready to do it. This first song is one of my favorites that I've written. I wrote it several years ago. It was a bit of an interesting time in my life as things changed on a dime for me, and as life tends to do, kind of turns you on your head. And I found myself going from country mouse to city mouse in the blink of an eye, from a sleepy rural town to downtown Toronto, and I quickly realized that I was unprepared and unequipped for the transition. So I wrote this song, to help me deal with that transition. This is One Way Ticket Home. Times changed, now I'm here, downtown about a year. Funny how life lets you know. Grass and brighter shade of green, concrete, caffeine. This sure ain't the life I know. And I long for the trees, the hummingbirds and honeybees, the fields of barley we'd roam. And I pine for the trees, the summer nights, autumn dreams, a winter morning dressed in snow. Gonna roll my pennies up for a one-way ticket home. City lights have left me blinded, a streetcar stuck behind it, another detour moving slow. Coffee shops, crowded bars, folks waiting in line for stars, but not the kind that really glow. And I long for the breeze, the hummingbirds and honeybees, the fields of barley we'd roam. And I pine for the trees, the summer nights, autumn dreams, a winter morning dressed in snow. Gonna roll my pennies up for a one-way ticket home. I know every dirt road along the way. Dream about pulling into the driveway every single day. And I long for the breeze, the hummingbirds and honeybees, the fields of barley we'd roam. And I pine for the trees, the summer nights, autumn dreams, a winter morning dressed in snow. Gonna roll my pennies up for a one-way ticket home. Get me on that Greyhound bus, with a one-way ticket home. All right, so this next song is an interesting one. It's a new song that hasn't been released yet. I'm really excited about releasing it. It should be out there soon. It's got a really good backstory to it. So my brother is a firefighter here in London. He's a captain, great guy. He had a really interesting idea. He obviously cancer is a very it hits close to home for firefighters. It's a disease that they deal with on the regular. And my brother's name is Sean. He came to me and said, why are there no songs about Terry Fox that we know of, that we sing, that we celebrate his life? And I said, that's a great question. I actually have no idea why there are no songs. And he said, well, let's make one. So he did his research, and he really got to understand Terry's mission and his story and his journey. And he came to me with some really great lyrics, and he said, can you do what you do, and can we turn this into a song together? So I got to work, and I put the melody together and the chord structure together, and we started to formulate the song. We hit the studio a couple months ago, and with a great production team, great musicians, we recorded an amazing version of the song. And really the point of the song is everyone knows Terry Fox. The kids still do the run in the school. It's coming up on September 19th. Everyone knows about it, but I feel like people have kind of forgotten about who he was, what he did, what his mission was, and what his impact was. And I think that's something that we need to remind ourselves of and celebrate. So I'm going to play the stripped-down acoustic version of the song that's dedicated to an absolute Canadian icon, and this is Like a Fox. Oh, Canada, true, no, strong and free. Countless superstars through our history. But the one who set out to run from coast to coast, that's the Canuck I respect the most. Humble and kind, no need for glory. A nation's pride, his epic story, spirit inspired, help many cope with this marathon of hope. For pushing so upon one leg, ran a hero born Winnipeg. In hard times, when neither acts nor talks, face life and run like a fox. Enter towns, crowds and lines, highways alone, lights of cop cars shine. Huge grin and hearts, first steps in the sea. Straight days he ran, 143, still standing strong in his statue. Erect and proud in 82. Coquette Lambeau, true visionary. Lesson learned, try like Terry. For pushing so upon one leg, ran a hero born Winnipeg. In hard times, one neither acts nor talks, face life and run like a fox. Do my very best, his famous quotes, 42 hard clicks a day, clicks a day. Believe in miracles, so he wrote. We've kept the dream alive since Thunder Bay. Still feel them with us, echoes of applause. We're waging war, fighting for the cause. Life cut short, time to breathe. This country's Terry Fox and the Maple Leaf. For pushing so upon one leg, We're in a hero born to win a pain. In hard times, when neither exo talks, face life and run like a fox. Face life and run like a fox. So this has been a tough time for all of us through the pandemic, which I talked about a bit before. I can't wait to be back here or anywhere else and see the stands and the seats are full, but for now we're going to take this as a win, definitely. One of the hardest things I think that we've all experienced through COVID is the lack of the ability to see our friends and our family and our loved ones. You know, it's so hard not being able to connect with the people that mean the most to us. But luckily for me, my niece Peyton and I, she's 11. She was in my circle, so I had been giving her guitar lessons through COVID, which has been fantastic, spending time together and teaching her how to play guitar. We kind of upped the ante a little bit with the guitar playing, and we started to write some songs together. And we just had a blast, and we just loved doing it. And we really have a really nice connection and a really nice chemistry when it comes to writing and singing together. So I would like to actually invite my niece Peyton out here to do a few songs with me. Peyton, come on out, sweetheart. This is Peyton, everybody, and she's a bit new to the game, but I think you're going to like what we do. How you feeling, my love?
Good.
Good? We Gucci? Yeah. All right. So the first thing that we thought of when we started writing music together was, how do we write a song that kind of echoes the sentiments of what I was just talking about, which is basically, not being able to see the ones you love, your friends, your family, even your coworkers, whoever. We're just missing everybody. So we wanted to write a song that really touched on that. And as we've decided, we're always better together. The name of our first song, our lead-off song, is called Better Together. There we go. When I'm with you, I feel safe and sound. Inside and out, lift me up to higher ground. No matter how far we're apart, it's like we're hanging out with the dogs at the park. I miss you. Do you miss me too? We both know this much is true. We're always better together, 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 together. Oh, we're better together, 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 together.
You know how much I love our walk.
And don't forget our little talks.
I'm really wishing you would stay.
You're only down the street, but you feel so far away.
I need you.
Do you need me too? We both know this much is true. We know we're better together, 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 together. We know we're better together, 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 together.
When I'm alone, the skies are gray.
You make the clouds go away. You make the clouds go away. We're always better together, 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 together. 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 We're always better together. Yeah, we are. We're better together. All right, so Peyton and I decided we couldn't stop there by any means. We had too good of a thing going. So we decided to keep on writing tunes. I'm going to tune up here just a little bit. What's the most important thing about playing guitar that I tell you?
Tuning.
Tune up, you got her. So we kept the ball rolling, and we said, let's write some more music together. We thought we'll change gears a bit here. So I started playing a riff. I'm going to play in a second here. There we go. So I started playing this riff. And Peyton and I decided this kind of sounded like, we're gonna, maybe something a little more edgy than Better Together. Maybe this kind of reminds us of...
Kind of reminded us of a storm.
Exactly. So we thought we're going to take this song and we're going to write about a storm. So, when you're in a storm, you're scared, you're frightened, and you don't know what to do. You're probably running away from it. You're probably getting indoors. But we decided, you know what? Let's use this as a metaphor for life. So if someone's telling you what to do, if you're being bullied, if there's a storm in your face, you got to look it right in the eyes and say, you know what? No, thank you. I've had enough. You got to stand on your own 2 feet. You got to dig in and say, you know what? I got this. So without further ado, this is our second release. And by the way, when Peyton and I play together, we go by the name of Fam Jam. So make sure you be watching out there for Fam Jam beyond what I do by myself, because what we do is really special, yeah? Yeah. So without further ado, this song is called
Eye of the Storm.
Eye of the Storm. Here we go. Off in the distance, see the clouds rolling in. Feel the resistance underneath my skin. Thunder and lightning and the cold hard rain. It's all so frightening. Wash away my pain. Give me shelter, keep me warm. 'Cause it's the eye of the storm. It's the eye of the storm. Alone in the forest, just me and the trees. Hear the wind's chorus like a new disease. Haunted by the silence, can't make a sound. Lost in the violence, where will I be found? Sky's a monster taking form. This is the eye of the storm. It's the eye of the storm. But I've been down this road before. Can't take it anymore. 'Cause this means war. Won't let you turn my blue sky gray. No, not today. Find a better way. Feel my power return to me. More every hour for the world to see. Done taking orders, here to take what's mine. Stand right behind me, just get in line. It's a new day, I'm reborn. 'Cause I'm the eye of the storm. I'm the eye of the storm. 'Cause I've been down this road before. Can't take it anymore. 'Cause this means war. Won't let you turn my blue sky gray. No nights today. We'll find a better way. 'Cause I've been down this road before. I can't take it anymore. 'Cause I'm the eye of the storm. Love it. So cool. This is Peyton's first time actually performing live on a stage, and I gotta say, You're doing pretty good. You digging it?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right, cool. So we're going to play our third song that we wrote together as Fam Jam Music. This one is really special, and it's really become one of my favorite songs of my entire life, actually, my entire career, which is it's just a tall order. I started, finger picking away some chords on the guitar, and definitely took a different direction than the songs you've heard so far. It sounded sad, it sounded somber, and I asked Peyton, what does this make you feel, Peyton?
It kind of sounded like a loss.
A loss, exactly. So we thought we would center the song around a loss. And we talked about what could the loss be about. Everyone's deals with loss all the time. That's just an inevitability of life. So we thought, could it be about the loss of a parent or a sibling, a pet, a friend? And ultimately, we settled on friend, because a friend could be any of those things. A friend could be a parent. A friend could be a brother, a sister, an uncle, a coworker, a pet, anything. So we put the song together, and it's really special. And it's called
The Other Side.
The Other Side. There we go.
Never knew I could feel so all alone, with a wish that you would just come home. Didn't know I'd have to say goodbye. Remembering the good times that we shared. You're the best, no one else compared. Can't believe we had to say goodbye. Now I'm lost, can't be found, and I'm drowning in the pain. Paid the cost, lost your crown, and I don't know who to blame. So let it rain, because the rain drops hide my tears, and the clouds above grow heavy with my fears. I miss you, see you on the other side. Spinning around a world that's so unfair, broken heart, far beyond repair. Didn't know the sky could turn this gray. All the things we dream that we become, ripped away, and all I feel is numb. Can't believe today was our last day. Bending knees, meet the ground, heartache hardly can contain. Begging please, falling down, trouble coursing through my veins. So let it rain, because the raindrops hide my tears, and the clouds above grow heavy with my fears. I miss you, see you on the other side. I don't know if one fine day our souls will meet. So I will stand tall and believe believe. And so I wipe away my tears, and the stars above guide you back to me, my dear. I miss you. See you on the other side. I miss you. See you on the other side. Okay. Miss Peyton, your first time, unbelievable. Come here. I love you so much. Good job. See you out there. Wow, that was awesome. I just love spending time with her and just love her so much under the guise of making music, which is the perfect alibi. I got a couple more for you. Let me just hydrate quickly. So this next song I wrote several years ago. It was another kind of a tough time in my life where I really needed to find some courage and some spark and some energy and some confidence. If there's one thing I've learned in life through mainly the School of Hard Knocks, it's that if you've got problems or if you've got some changes that need to be made, if you're going to sit around and wait for someone else to make those changes for you, you're going to be waiting for a long time, inevitably, probably forever. It's nice to think about someone, you know, coming into your life and making things right, but it's a bit of a pipe dream. You know, we're the masters of our own fate and ultimately our own demise as well. This song is about swooping gloriously back into your own life, becoming your own man of steel. This is Hero. All alone in a crowded room, I can see right through me, like a flower just won't bloom in a silent movie. Try to fit in, but the color of my skin keeps me down. Yeah, I can't never win. I just wanna be free. 'Cause we need a hero to come save the day. Spread their wings, fly us all away. Who's gonna save my soul? I long to be free. Where can my hero be? I wanna leave, I wanna hide my face, do it in a hurry, being judged like a courtroom case, but without a jury. I choose to love what I'm dreaming of, different God way up high on above. And I just wanna be me, 'cause we need a hero to come save the day. Spread their wings, fly us all away. Who's gonna save my soul? I long to be free. Where can my hero be tonight? Hold my hands up, it's my time to fight. Yeah, this one's on me, 'cause I'll be the hero and come save the day. Spread my wings, fly them all away. Cross the sea, through any ocean, I'll find that antidote, secret potion. Yeah, I'll be the hero and make it alright. Shine my beacon up high in the night. I'm gonna save my soul and I'll finally be free. 'Cause that hero is me. 'Cause that hero's me. All right, I got one more song for you guys. I want to thank you all for tuning in so much, and I want to thank the Aeolian Hall for having me. What a fantastic opportunity, a fantastic venue to get back out there in the musical saddle, so I'm really appreciative. This last song is a really special one for a lot of reasons. Friends of mine, Paula and Frank, who live in Tillsonburg near London, reached out to me after they had a very serious situation happen in their life. Frank is an OPP officer, and on the regular, OPP officers and other first responders are continually dealing with mental health issues and, more importantly, suicide. They see it every day, in every way, in every walk of life, and it's definitely something that's taking its toll on officers, first responders at large, and just the general public. Obviously, in these times of isolation and you know, everything that's going on with COVID, this is a really difficult time for a lot of people. Tragically, Frank, who again is an OPP officer, found his brother who had taken his own life. Obviously, incredibly tragic event for the family to lose a loved one in this fashion. Really difficult. Left them with a lot of questions of why this happened, how they couldn't have stopped it from happening. So Paula wrote some, you know, in order to kind of get through this difficult situation, she wrote some lyrics of how her and Frank were feeling about the situation. They approached me, they like what I do, they approached me and said, do you think you can help us turn this into a song? A song that would serve a couple purposes. Number one, be cathartic in the family getting through this difficult time, and number two, really encouraging the conversation around suicide awareness and really getting people talking about, you know, what we need to do for ourselves and for each other in these difficult times. So she sent me these really compelling, really profound and beautiful and heartfelt and touching and really sad lyrics. And I was honored to be asked to be a part of it, and I got to work right away and came up with, again, the melody and the chord structure of the song, and we were happy with what we had. We hit the studio late last year, and recorded it with some top-notch musicians and production team. And we released it in last November, and the response was absolutely phenomenal from all across the world. People were reaching out to us saying that they appreciated the song, they appreciated the sentiment, they really got it, that this was something that was helpful for them in dealing with, whether it was a loss of them for a loved one or a friend, or maybe something that they were going through as well. So, you know, again, I'm honored to be a part of this project and this song, and to be advocating the discussion about suicide and suicide awareness. This one's called The Questions Burn. Reflections in my mind, really hoping to find some relief from the pain. It never seems to wane. I know life gets hard when you're dealt that wrong card. Not a game to be won, and you can't choose when it's done. How do I let go? Why you? Why now? Did you not know I'd have helped you fight? What gave you the right? I can't change how I feel. Can this even be real? As the questions burn, as the questions burn. Blind to your well-being,
sorry for not seeing the hurt behind your smile, desperation all the while. You gave up tomorrows for some peace from your sorrows. Do stars now shine brighter? Does your soul feel any lighter? How do I let go? Why you? Why now? Did you not know? I'd have felt you fight. What gave you the right? I can't change how I feel. Can this even be real? As the questions burn, as the questions burn a hole right through my heart. Don't know why it had to end this way. Where to even start? Do the scars fade away? Unspoken words still aching to be heard. Please stay. From tragedy comes strength, and I will go to any length to help another drowned in tears overcome their darkest fears. Why you? Why now? Did you not know I'd have helped you fight? What gave you the right? I can't change how I feel. Can this even be real? As the questions burn, as the questions burn. As the questions burn. As the questions burn. I want to thank everyone so much again for tuning in. I want to thank the Aeolian Hall for having me and supporting live local music. We're getting close, guys. Stay safe, be well, take care of each other, and hopefully we'll see each other again soon.